Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. Hi, hello, how are you? Okay, I am so sorry, YouTube family. I don't know what happened. I thought my batteries were charged for my camera. They were not. I literally had them on the battery all night. I took them, I unplugged it, I put them into my camera, and after 27 minutes, my camera died. So 27 minutes of the episode did not have video. I took my other battery and I plugged it in. I was like, okay, this will be good. That battery also died. So then I'm like, cool. When it dies on my camera for my Rebel T7i, it deletes the footage. There's no way to recover it. There's no way to see it. It's like corrupted in some way. In comparison to what I'm recording on right now is my Canon G7X Mark II. It when it dies, it records it and keeps the footage. So part of this, the whole first half of this episode, it's not going to have any visual. I am so sorry. I really am. I hope that in 2025, I will not have problems like this. I am asking Santa Claus for new batteries for Christmas. So hopefully come Wednesday, he gives them to me. But yeah. I hope that you enjoyed this episode. I really am sorry for the visual quality, but after 30 minutes, you'll be able to see my face, see a little, you and me. But as always, thank you so much for being a listener and a viewer of the Golden Hour Drip podcast. Love you so much. Let's get into the episode. Welcome back to the Golden Hour Drip podcast. I'm your host, Logan Lee Miller. It's another chilly day in Missouri, but that's all right. I had the best experience. Oh my gosh, I have got to talk about this. I went to, it's called Retro Charity and Arcade, or Charitable Toys and Arcade. I can't exactly remember the name of it. But if you search, it's a small little shop. It's in Warrensburg, Missouri. It is absolutely so cool. So, of course, it's December. I'm trying to get in all of the holiday things, right? Like I'm going to pop-up bars. I am snuggling by the fire. My fake fire. I'm having warm beverages. I am, making Christmas cookies. I am leaning in. I'm trying to do all of the fun things because I know that Christmas is fleeting, and once it's gone, it is gone, baby. So we went to this little arcade shop situation. It was like a multitude of things, but they don't serve food there. You can bring in food. So we did pizza, and then you can bring your own beverages, non-alcoholic or alcoholic. And they had a ton of different games, like the old games. And I don't know why, but immediately the thought that went through my head was like, oh my gosh, this is like Pixels. Like, no, it's like the old arcades where the video games are in like the huge arcade fashion. If you've seen if you've seen Pixels, you know what I'm talking about. It's not Candy Crush. Why the frick? Candy Crush is not anywhere near. I meant, oh my gosh, it's with the Pac-Man. It's with Pac-Man. Like there's Pac-Man, there was pinball, which I get sucked into pinball. Let me tell you, it was a blast. So you pay $10, you go in and you can play as many games as you want. Pinball was my favorite. I feel like I was really racking up the points, although there's like no tickets. And I feel like when you go to an arcade, the lure is not there for the tickets. Like, I don't want your shitty ass prize behind the counter or the candy. Like, I'm not really interested in that, but I do want to play a game, but I don't want to have to pay that much, right? Like, I could easily be entertained at home, but I want to go out. So this was like the perfect situation. $10 to get in. You can bring your own food. I played pinball probably for 15 minutes straight. Like, it was so much fun. And like, I am not a huge gamer girl. Like, any sort of what is it? Mario Kart. I hated playing that with my siblings. Brody was really into it when he was a kid. I felt like it is just one, I had astigmatism and I didn't realize it. So like staring at the screen was like kind of painful on my eyes. I am actually going to get my little blanket behind me. It is kind of chilly in studio and I want to be cozy. I like cleaned everything up in here, so I like put my little blankie on the the back of the chair, perfect to grab. But as a kid, like Brody loved it, and I remember my dad picked up a Mario Kart game for him, but we only had one. No, that was at my mom's house. At my mom's house, we only had two of the wheels. And if we ever played 4-player, because I have 4 other siblings, two of us would have to like just hold the remote sideways and pretend that we had a wheel. But Birdie would want to play it all the time. It was not fun. Like it seriously, it hurt my eyes. I hated staring at the screen. I also feel like it's not productive. And so I feel like playing video games is a waste of my time. Whereas I would rather scroll on TikTok because that's a waste of time, right? Like everybody has their own crutch, like whatever they like to do with their spare time, that's fine. But video games for me, it's just not my forte. It gives me a headache and I'm not very smart. So I don't want to play the games, but I feel like this was like simplified because in all reality, like if you're playing, oh my gosh, I can't even think, like if you are playing the Pac-Man, if you do not know all of the coordination of the game, right? Like the cheat codes or any of the stuff. If you watch Pickles, oh my gosh, if you watch Pixels, you know exactly what I'm talking about, right? Like there's little patterns in the game. And personally, I don't know any of the patterns. And which patterns reminds me of Rubik's Cubes, which is a very solid Christmas item. Little stocking stuffer. But with Rubik's Cubes, like there's a pattern, like a way to solve it. And apparently, you know, like people are getting faster and faster all the time. But it's the same with like these games. Like there's a pattern, there is a routine, a system, because it wasn't adaptable back then. Like it wouldn't like learn how you played and then like change it up or whatever. It was a routine, it was a pattern. And so really and truly, like you don't really know how to play the game if you're like me, just like a random bystander just walking around. So the other game I played for so long was the Oregon Trail. And this brought me back to literally elementary school. We did not play the Oregon Trail that often. I remember when we had indoor recess, because I grew up in Northeast Iowa and it was freaking cold all the time. We got so much snow and the wind chill was insane. It would be like 0 and negative. So we couldn't go outside. We would have indoor recess. And one of my teachers had a menus from Country Kitchen. I remember playing restaurant. Okay. She was very attuned with maybe some of her students and what kind of job. She was definitely preparing us in so many different ways, right? Like, okay, like play restaurant, you're going to be a waitress in college or any of the things, right? And so we could do that. Or there was a computer with the Oregon Trail, and I remember playing it, but only like from behind someone, right? Like I was never really the person who like ran to the computer first and sat down and like did the keyboards. No. I was an onlooker. Okay. I looked over their shoulder, looked at what they were doing, laughed at it. I didn't realize that it's kind of like a code. Like when you're coding a computer or doing any sort of like spreadsheet, it honestly reminded me of like the formulas you put in a Excel spreadsheet, where it's like, if this, then that. If yes, then it does this. If no, it does this. If it's yes, it turns green. If it's no, it turns red, whatever. And so it was kind of like that. I didn't realize that you would have to spell out words like yes or no, or select number 1 and not number 2, or like whatever, and like toggling in between. It wouldn't like select the actual word, but instead you had to type at the bottom yes or no, or 1 or 2, whatever. And so I was playing that for a bit, and of course I was with some of my friends, so everybody is like moving around and like playing different games, and I almost felt like I was being sucked in too much. Like I was like, oh, this story is interesting, and it was taking me back to like in elementary. in middle school, not elementary maybe, but middle school and high school for sure, when we had to take the standardized testing, I would, get my test done very quickly. I'm a fast learner, a fast reader, and I would comprehend it pretty quickly. Okay. And I remember like trying to answer the questions for like the reading comprehension, and it would be like, okay, in the story, blah blah blah. I would always pre-read the questions, like what is the question asking, what am I looking for in the story. And I used to get so captivated by the story, right? It would be a piece of literature and I would already know the answer, and I would click A or B or C or whatever the answer was. And I would be so intrigued by the story that I would then read the story, and once it was completed or I couldn't scroll down for the story anymore, then I would move on to the next question. And I still got it completed very quickly. I remember my teacher saying, "Did you read all the questions? Like, make sure you take this seriously." And I'm like, my mother is a teacher. I know how serious this is. I want to move on. Okay. Like, I have read it, and normally I would have a book and I would read my book, but it was just taking me back. Like, I was being so captivated by the Oregon Trail story. And one of it, it's like, oh, you got to the Missouri River. Like, are you going to go past it? Are you going to try and float the wagon? Or are you going to wait until it goes down? I was like, let's cock it. Let's get this wagon across, right? And I hope that I had enough supplies and food and things for clothing. Oh my gosh. It was like recommended 2 pieces of clothing or 2 outfits per person. I'm like, baby, we are trying to get to the or across the Oregon Trail. Nobody has time for clothes. And obviously, like, I cut myself off a bit. I was getting too into it, right? And so I did leave. I was like, okay, like, I'm gonna let you go, but I'm sure tuberculosis would have wiped out my family, or I lost a few. Honestly, having the entire little wagon, oh my gosh, I almost said cabin, not cabin, little wagon. Like, I had my oxen, we were doing great, but everybody eats so much. Are you kidding me? Like, 6 people in my wagon? Heck no, we need to like kick some of these people out. So maybe, I digress, but it was a lot of fun doing the Oregon Trail. But playing the games was only part of this entire experience. They also had toys, like collectible toys, but also just like random toys. And going through there, I was like a kid in a candy shop. Like, this is very nostalgic Christmas to me, right? Like, you see the toys that you've gotten in the past, and I was like, oh, what a good way to just spend an evening. And I was walking through, there was a little tour. They had like a chain across the like little doorway. So I went in, and the man showing us around, he was so nice. The first room, I can't remember what was in it, but so many toys. I am talking like thousands of toys, and they're all so stacked up perfectly. And I'm talking about, like, McDonald's toys when you were a kid. They had McDonald's toys there. They had action figures. They had WWE, not WD, WWE wrestler figurines. But what stood out to me the most, they had those, what were they called? Furbies. They had Furbies there, and I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't seen a Furby in so long. It was so fun to like just walk down memory lane and look at all of these items. And of course, okay, so the item that I'm referencing is the pregnant Barbie. I believe her name is Midge. And I know that the Barbie movie just came out last year, and they talked about the pregnant Barbie, right? I saw this Barbie. I was like, I have this Barbie. And one of my friends was like, oh yeah, I don't know. I was like, she is pregnant. Her belly, because she was obviously wearing her hospital gown, I was like, her belly connects with magnets, and there's a baby inside her plastic belly, and you could remove the belly and put it back on. And the guy who was giving us the tour was like, yeah, do you want to see it? And so he took it down and like showed her, because she had never seen the pregnant the pregnant Barbie before. I was like, I have one of these. I know I have it in storage. Like, my mom took care of all of my stuff. I know I have it. And he's like, yeah. And she also came with like her mom and dad. I was like, yes, they're like old grandparents. They have like gray hair. It's like old Ken and old Barbie. And I was like, I have them. It was so cool to just like unlock a memory that I have not thought of in so long. But I was like, I had that Barbie. Like, I know I have them. Like, I remember playing with them. I remember getting them. And I just, as a kid, I loved baby dolls. I loved my Barbies. I loved my Bratz. I had Polly Pockets. I had American Girl doll. I was really, really into all of the make believe and the play, and having two sisters who are like the same age as me. Like, we played constantly. I remember Caitlin and I, we were the closest in age, and we also shared a bedroom. We would play dolls, and her dolls were always like the stupid dolls. I remember Caitlin just making me laugh so freaking hard because she'd be like playing the dude. She'd be like, okay, Barbie. Like, seriously, some of my very, very favorite memories were playing dolls with my sisters, making up little stories. When I first got my very, very, very first camera, it was purple. It was so cute. It was like your little, like, 2000s flat camera, right? Like, kind of like my my Canon Mark G7X. Okay, the like digital cameras that are like so popular right now. I remember getting one for Christmas, and I would take photos, like still photos of my Barbies or my Bratz or like whatever setup I had, and I would like have little storylines. So it'd be like a picture book of my camera. And I remember my mom having to have a conversation with me, and she's like, Logan, your camera is for people. Okay, stop taking photos of your Barbies and their little like setup. Or sometimes we'd like take a photo of the curtain or take a photo of the I don't know, flowers, whatever it was. But I remember like taking photos and doing a little photo shoot of my like setup. If it was my Barbie dream house, like setting up all of my Barbie stuff, setting her up in the kitchen. I had this pot with spaghetti. It was so fun, in like the little silverware, and so she'd be in the kitchen, and I'd take a photo of it, and then I would put Barbie like outside in the swimming pool or whatever. So many, like, such fun memories of like doing these things. So that was like one of the rooms, and then we went down to more rooms, and I swear, like, going through this was unlocking so many memories of being a kid, and like toys, and especially toys around Christmas or your birthday, right? Like, the toys that came out during Christmas was like elite. It was so cool to just like look and be like, that's the toy I want. Like, it was popular. Everyone had them. And as we were going through the different rooms, the hallway was filled with these drawings to an extent. And the drawings were from animated films. Okay, so animated films that were to make the like animation, it would be like a 1,000 photos stacked upon one another, where each of the characters' faces just like moved slightly or their hands moved slightly to then create the animation. Like, if you had a flip book, right? Like, your flip book, you have one drawing and it moves every single little bit. As a kid, we would have sticky notes constantly filled with like little flip book situation of like storylines, right? And these were the originals of so many like really, really, really cool animations. And I was like, oh my gosh, I remember watching that. Or, oh my gosh, like, I've seen that. They had a one from the Grinch. I thought that was so insane to see. Like, the artists, their idea of what they were going to do for the animation, and then like it all inked up. It honestly reminded me, oh my gosh, what is that book? There was a book as a kid. It was called like, oh my gosh, it was like about inking comics, and this guy was like a little businessman, and he was selling comics for like a quarter or something, and he had this girl like ink his drawings. I don't know, I remember like reading that book, and I was a very entrepreneur as a kid. Like, I ate that book up. I wish I would remember what the name was, but it's like that, like having little comics, or like stacking the animations on top of one another, or stacking the drawings on top of one another to create the animation. And so we were going through that, and that was absolutely spectacular to look at. What else? There was literally so many toys, so many old games as well. There was this robot in the back, and I was like, it was a learning robot. I remember getting that for Christmas from at my dad's, and you could put like a little cassette in it, and then it had like a screen on its belly, and it would like help you learn things. So cool. I feel like so much of my childhood was there, like VCR tapes. Oh my gosh, they were in the very back room next to the other robot. There were VCR tapes, and the tapes of my childhood, I'm talking like Pinocchio, the Aristocrats, what else, all the Disney ones. And I felt like I had stepped into another time zone. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm 5 years old, 6 years old, 8 years old again. And I have my VCR tapes. Like my mother, and we still have them, I just need to find them, have all of the VCR tapes, every single Disney movie. Fox and the Hound, I remember that. Rewinding them so that you could watch the movie again. Like seriously, if you don't know what a VCR tape is, it's a thick tape that goes into a VCR machine, but instead of a DVD that was flat, a VCR tape was thicker. It was plastic, and it had like actual film on the inside. And the film would then play the movie. But at the end of the movie, sometimes if your VCR did not rewind, you would have to hand rewind them, which was really, really annoying. Luckily, our VCR player would rewind the tapes. So that was fantastic, but you would have to wait for it to rewind, right? Like you would finish playing, then press rewind, wait for it to rewind, and then you could pop it out, right? We had like all the Disney movies, and then there was like a couple just like off ones that we had as well that wasn't Disney, but still like the same animations. I loved them. Like I watched them constantly as a kid. Like definitely my mom loved Disney, and like it was just also Winnie the Pooh, like we had that as well. And it was so fun just looking at these things that were so important as a kid, and like the culture, and like just a really fun vibe, honestly. Like I don't know how else to explain it, but like that was my childhood. And there was so many other toys that were like way before my childhood as well, or things that I weren't necessarily interested in, but we're still like really, really relevant, obviously. But as I was just looking through it, I was like, man, how toy culture has like changed so much. Now it's like computer games, or it's like electronics. And in the past it was like dolls, and it was so crazy to see Monster High dolls were in there, because I feel like that was something that like Lily collected when she was a kid, and that doesn't seem like that long ago. But there was also like the McDonald toys, or the a ton of McDonald toys, just insane. It was such a cool little place to be. And in the back there was a TV that was hollowed out, an old TV, so it wasn't very big, probably like I don't know, a little bigger than my head situation, like kind of small. Anyways, it's one of those like old time TVs. It's brownish, it's a square, like not very big at all, but inside the screen it was all hollowed out. And instead of like, you know, a screen like your phone or a regular TV, it had figurines from, I'm pretty sure it was the Frosty the Snowman, but it's the old one. So not the new version, but these were like the old clay, not claymation. Let's see, Frosty the Snowman. I'm going to look it up really quick. But it's the old one, because I recognize, no, this is not it. Or maybe it's it. I don't know. It had, think the old movies where it's like kind of clay looking. And I like, oh, one, of course, like I'm trying to think about this afterwards, and I don't think that I hardly took a photo of it, but it had like a monster, like a snow monster, like a frosted snow monster. I seriously, it has the guy who plays the banjo. I think it's Rudolph the reindeer. That's what it was, because I remember the guy with the banjo in the old movie, and it wasn't really claymation. It was more like figurine dolls. I don't know. I seriously, these older movies are not like my top number one fave. They are definitely nostalgic, but Garrett loves them the most. I'm gonna say, like, I remember seeing maybe not the monster. I seriously like I glanced at it. There were so many things to look at. Like, this was top to bottom filled with everything, but it seriously, it was just so nostalgic to see all of the different toys. Like, it seriously was an amazing time to like just look around, to be honest. And it makes me so sad that kids these days, like, they don't have the same nostalgia. Maybe it's with games. Like, I, again, like I said, like, I wasn't a huge gamer girl. I know people like really love the Nintendo Switch from, you know, our childhood, or my childhood anyways, or like Tamagotchis or any of those things, but that I just wasn't drawn to that, right? And so it, like, I remember writing my Christmas list, and it would just be like the hopping in new toys. And I seriously, like, I don't know. It is just so sad that people don't get to experience what I got to experience. But let's get into the peak of my week. Obviously, Christmas is coming early because we have to be out of our house early. So for me, like, Christmas Eve is the best. Okay, you're settling in. You if you're like me, you want to open your gifts early. I swear, like, I would open my gifts immediately. Like, Garrett gets them. We've gotten so many packages in December that I've been like, okay, like, is that one for me? Because obviously Garrett and I share an Amazon account, but he has a separate one that he like pays for shipping or whatever. But I'm like, oh, is that package for me or you? And he's like, it's mine. I was like, okay, it might be yours, but is it actually for me, you know? I would open them immediately. I'm not good at waiting until the time. I would love to just like open it up, get to see what's inside, and that is what makes me the most happy. Okay, celebrating Christmas Eve, it is way better than Christmas Day, and let me tell you why. Christmas Day, what is there to look forward to? You open your presents in the morning, and then what? You watch Christmas movies, which is great, but I've been watching Christmas movies all freaking December. So you lounge around, you have your toys, and then what do? The next day, it's regular, it's normal. You're packing the Christmas stuff up, you are moving along, right? Anyways, so I personally, I love Christmas Eve. And Christmas Eve as a kid at my mom's house, it was so much fun. We would get downstairs in our pajamas, and we had our fireplace, like a real fireplace. And we chopped wood, and we would have the fire there, and we would get all cozy, and maybe watch the Christmas movie on Christmas Eve, right? And we would be so worried about Santa Claus coming down the chimney, because we would be like, all right, we need to put the fire out. We need to put water on the fire. We need to put all of the ashes up, because we did not want Santa to get dirty. You know, he's got a lot of houses to go to. And so we would just like try and pick everything up for Santa Claus. My mom would always be like, no, it's fine, like whatever. But seriously, it was the best thing to just be cozied up downstairs. Like, the anticipation would be building for Christmas. Okay, like, oh, like tomorrow's Christmas. Like, it's just a magical feeling in your heart when you lay down for bed and you're like, what will happen tomorrow? Will Santa come? Will Santa not come? Will I get the gifts on my list, or will I not get the gifts on my list? And I know that it is not about the material things. It is about the spirit of Christmas. And guess what? I love the spirit of Christmas. I love it so much that I want to start it early. I seriously do. I like having my presents early. And, you know, as we get older, our gifts are not the same. They hit different. Our gifts nowadays, I'm asking for cleaning supplies, you know, for my dad. He's a great shopper. Cleaning supplies for my dad, you know, Garrett, miscellaneous things. Honestly, I think sourdough tools is what I asked for. So hopefully we'll see if not tomorrow, not when this podcast episode comes out, but the next day we'll see if I receive it. But just as a kid, it just hit totally different. And I remember laying in bed, and my sisters and I would all try to sleep downstairs, but my mom would be like, nope, how's Santa gonna come? He would like kick us upstairs. We slept in the attic. It was always freezing cold. Northeast Iowa was the chilliest of all chills. Usually we would have snow already on the ground. It would be packed up. Oh my gosh, we would always do chores the next morning. Chores, so chilly, so cold. Like, oh my gosh, like I'm glad that I live in Missouri. It's cold here. Like, obviously, like I have a blanket on top of me, I have my slippers on, I'm drinking warm tea. Like, I love being cozy. And Northeast Iowa weather, it just hits totally different. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that the Golden Hour Drip podcast has a monthly newsletter. You'll find podcast updates, upcoming events and information, and bonus content. If you haven't already, click the link in the show notes and join today. Now, back to the show. Oh my gosh. Hi guys. You can actually see me. I am so sorry. My camera died not once, but twice during the first section of this podcast. So I deeply apologize. However, what was I saying? Oh yes, about the chimney, and my mom like saying that it would be fine and Santa Claus would be able to come down, but me and my siblings, we were not sure. Okay. Also, we lived in the middle of nowhere. It was always so cold, right? We lived on a little farm, and we would leave treats out for the reindeers. This was honestly one of my very, very favorite memories. So of course, like Santa got his sugar cookies, he got his milk left out by the chimney with care, and then we would leave treats for the reindeer. So we would do some oats with glitter, because they have to be magical glitter, or magical oats with the glitter. And then we would also put carrots. And so my mom and dad would leave them out. And then in the morning, the carrots would be munched on. The some of the remnants might be outside, right? And one year, my stepdad gathered some feces from, I can't remember if it was our goat or a rabbit, but left little reindeer turds on our front porch where the reindeer had gotten their little snack and left us a little present, okay, on the step. This was the coolest thing ever. We loved it. But yeah, it was honestly like, those memories of just like waiting for Christmas Eve are top tier. They're my very, very favorites of just like, think at Christmas as a kid, it's always going to be the best, right? Like, you have these nostalgic thoughts, you have all of these memories, and it does something good for the soul, right? Celebrating Christmas, is it very Christmassy of me? I don't know. I think I just like to celebrate the Christmas earlier and, experience it sooner. That might be a little Scroogeous of me. I don't care. But I digress. So let's get into the pit of my week. Christmas also has to leave early. I seriously, my overwhelm this month has been absolutely insane. I have just been really trying to rationalize what is going on and like the to-do list, the things that need to be executed before we leave. And I asked Garrett, I was like, okay, we were sitting down for supper a couple of weeks ago, and this was before we actually got the ornaments on the tree. And I said, Garrett, listen, I don't really want to put the ornaments on the tree. He said, we got to. It is the Christmas season. We got to put the ornaments on the tree. I said, fine. However, I want everything to be packed up before we leave, or because I am going on a second trip after him, so we're both going to Chicago celebrating his sister's wedding. It's going to be great. It's going to be amazing. And then I have a flight booked for Hawaii with my mom, stepdad, little sister. I am so excited. It's going to be a blast. Garrett cannot come. Garrett does not have enough PTO to cover it. that is too bad, Garrett. Okay. I do. I'm ready to go. So I'm headed to Hawaii, and that means I am going to do an immediate, like, I've changed my flight. Instead of going home, I'm going to Hawaii. And Garrett will be home with our dogs hanging out. And I told him, I was like, listen, we can either pack all the stuff up before Hawaii, I'm sorry, we can pick all the stuff up before we go to Chicago, right? And then you'll come home and we can keep the one tree up. If you really want a tree up, we can keep the tree up with no lights. However, with no ornaments, not lights. However, you have to put it up before I get back, because I do not want to be traveling for 15 days and then come back home and my house has top to bottom Christmas. Are you kidding me? That is one way to absolutely spike my cortisol levels. That is one way to just honestly make me very, very cranky. And I'm checking my freaking sound because I cannot have another thing fail on me today. Good thing Christmas is coming early, because I feel like Santa always watching. I have not been the happiest during this podcast recording with everything just dying on me. Okay. Hopefully, because I get to open my presents tomorrow, hopefully Santa got me new camera batteries, because my camera keeps dying on me. And now I'm on my G7X, which is my camera for photos, not for recording my episode. Anyways, moving right along. I told Garrett, I was like, we can either put everything up before we leave, or you're going to put it up, mister. You are going to be in charge of picking it all up, wrapping all of the stupid ornaments up, putting them in the bubble wrap, putting them in their little containers, and putting them upstairs. This man, after just kind of like getting sad, he was like, oh, putting up our Christmas ornaments early. Now this man is on the gravy train. He said, yep, we are putting up our ornaments early. He ultimately does not want to put up the ornaments by himself, because it is a workout. It is so hard. Like, you pulling it out is so much fun. Oh my gosh. It's like, I remember this from last year, picking this up on discount or whatever. Like, you look at your items and you're happy to see them again. Packing them away is not as fun, and packing them away early is worse. Okay. But we're not going to be home. Like, this is why we packed up Thanksgiving early, because we weren't going to be home. And honestly, like, I think it's the mindset to have. Like, when I come back, we will be in 2025. Okay. In 2025. And guess what? I want to start the new year renewed, refreshed. I don't want to have to worry about like trash in my home. Like, I seriously, I want to come back home refreshed, rejuvenated. I want to feel so good about myself, and I don't want to be stressing out about stupid holiday stuff, because the holidays have passed. When I get back, it'll be the first weekend. Like, we will I will be getting back in the middle of December, essentially. Like, not really. January 8th, I'll be back. Okay. And to me, I'm like, that is a whole, like, we are almost halfway through January, and I'm not going to be picking up a reindeer stuff or any of our ornaments. So it is sad. Like, I am sad. We're celebrating early, but we're also putting it away early. And that is just something that we're going to have to deal with this year. Next year, it's going to be a lot more fun, more traditional vibes. Or at least that's what Garrett and I keep telling ourselves. Like, okay, next year is going to be a traditional Christmas. We're going to be inside our own home. We will not be traveling. And we kind of said that last year, and we did some traveling. And we said that the year before, and we went to Chicago. And we said that the year before, and we went to my mom's. But I swear, next year, you will see me celebrating Christmas in my house. Last year, I did Vlogmas. I loved it. I thought it was so much fun. I really wanted to do Vlogmas this year, but guess what? I was too stressed out. I was like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get everything done in time in order to like be a regular human. I don't know. It's just, I am sad. Sayonara Christmas. It was so good before it even started, right? Like, Christmas is Wednesday. Is it Wednesday? Yeah, it's Wednesday this month. This week. Oh my gosh. It's Wednesday this week, which Christmas in the middle of the week. How do we feel about that? Christmas in the middle of the week is kind of, unfortunately, the worst thing possible. Christmas should be on a Friday, okay? And Christmas Eve Thursday. So half day on Thursday if you have to work. But ultimately, I would love to not be working on Christmas Eve. Christmas Day, fully rotting, right? There's nothing to look forward to. Saturday, I'm spending the entire Saturday picking all of the shit up. I'm packing it away. Sunday, I'm resting. Oh my gosh, like rest. Somehow making January 1st the following Monday, right? There's no way to have January 1st on a Monday if we're having Christmas on a Thursday, or Christmas Eve Thursday and Christmas Day Friday. But ultimately that would be the perfect concoction, right? Because you would have the entire weekend for Christmas. You would be able to like catch up with some family. And then of course, like we want New Year's to be on the first of the month, because ultimately like that's iconic. That's what you want. It's like fresh start. And plus it's going to be 2025. Are you kidding me? 2025, what an iconic year. So cute. I love a 25. I love, honestly, like I got married in 2020. I love 2020. I love 2025, like 2030. Like those are good round numbers. They feel good in my mouth. They feel good writing them. Okay. And that's not saying that I'm ready for 2030, because hell no, I'm not. But we're going to get through this Christmas first. And let's see, stockings. Stuffing Garrett's stocking was so fun this year. I went shopping at Shields for a couple things like on his Christmas list. And for his actual stocking stuffer, I picked up, okay, he loves these, like, what are they called? Legends? Are they Legends? Little Pop-Tarts, like the, nutritious Pop-Tarts. You can find them at the gas station. The first time I had one was at a gas station, but they're so good. You pop them in the microwave for a little bit, super melty, super good. So we got those in his stockings. The dog stockings. Okay, here's a thing that we have learned with the dogs. If we get them separate toys, say Rooster gets a starfish and Rowdy gets a shark, Rowdy will pick both of the toys up, take them to her bed, and Rooster gets nothing. So we've had to duplicate the toys. So if I'm going to get them both a purple pig, if I'm getting Rowdy a purple pig, I have to get Rooster a purple pig. If I'm getting Rowdy a little white snowman rippable toy, I'm getting Rooster a little snowman that's a rippable toy, right? It has to be the same. Same is equal in our household, right? Like have to have all the same stuff, or they fight, they bicker. And honestly, like Rowdy just stockpiles it all on her bed. Rooster's really not interested in the toys until Rowdy's playing with him with the toys, so that makes it better. It's like, okay. So after Christmas Day, then it's like everybody's toys. But that first day, it's like, okay, separation. Rooster's going to chew on his toy. You're going to chew on your toy. Or she will take it all and stockpile it. But what can I say? It's a woman after my own heart. I would probably do the same thing. So the dogs got their stockings. We did stockings for Garrett's mom and dad. Ultimately, we did our stocking like opening this past weekend. So we got Amy and Ryan different things for their stocking. But I just find doing stockings for your parents or like your in-laws is so perfect, because like what for us, right? Like getting gifts is hard. Like sending someone your list of things that you want is difficult, because it's like, all right, on this list, it's either $500 or it's something that I use every day, like Lana Lips, that is $13, right? And lip gloss, it's like a small item, so it really doesn't take up that much room, but it's something I use every day. So when you're compiling your list, it can be really hard to think, okay, like what is things that I need? And then what are things that I want? And then what's the price range for those? And then if you think about parents, like what can they actually buy for themselves that we couldn't get, or I'm sorry, what could we buy for them that they couldn't get themselves, right? Like it's very hard. You have to really, really think about like really special gifts for people. And right now, my mom and father-in-law, my mother and father-in-law, they are working on building their home. So they aren't in their forever home yet. So it's hard because like I'm not going to get them decoration. They don't have their house built yet. I'm not going to get them like, I don't know. Like it's very hard because they're in between. So a stocking has absolutely saved the day. I got the cutest little things for my mother-in-law. Her stocking is like my to do. Garrett's dad's stocking is his to do. Okay, not that boy stuff is not fun, but girl stuff is just so much funner. So I picked up, one of my favorite things that I got my mother-in-law are this, it's like a little cheese wheel, and it's different cheeses. So it's like cheddar and Gouda or whatever. And you place them on your mug, not my tea mug, but on the wine glass. So you can tell which wine glass is yours. I know a lot of people do like the wine charms at the bottom of the glass, but honestly, sometimes like your glass does not have a stem. If you have a stemless wine glass, like, okay, a little cheese, like putting it on the side, super, super cute. We got her, this is kind of like a little gag gift, but again, on the wine themed, in the bathtub, she can, it like sticks to a wall and you can put your wine glass on it. It's like a wine glass holder for the bathtub. Super, super cute. What else did we get? We got her an ornament. I got her these really, really cute tree glass blown earrings. Honestly, so cute, so lovely. And they're made by a local artist in the area. So I was like, okay, score. What else did I get her? Oh, okay. I got her this little cat puzzle, but it's not the cat puzzle that you would think. This cat puzzle is like kind of like a mind game. So you start with a cat in a certain area of the puzzle, and then you try and like fit the other shaped cats in the box. Super fun. Very good for the cognitive mind, right? And just trying to strengthen, and also something to do while you drink your coffee. So we got her those. There's an assortment of things, but honestly, like I cannot remember now, but just finding those really unique items that aren't a candle or like chocolate, even though we did put chocolate in there, it can be hard, like gift giving for people in your life. So I was really proud of the stockings that we did this year. Hopefully they liked them. They act like they liked them. Garrett got his dad these like Porsche glass, not glass, ice cube, like form, I guess, like a little ice cube, I don't know, like tray, an ice cube tray. And then he got him like other miscellaneous things, can't remember, but stockings, so much fun. Garrett's stocking, can't wait for him to open it tomorrow. I got him some like soap. He loves those big chunky soaps. What are they called? Like Dukes or something. He loves those soaps. I always get him that every single year. And last year I got him a little like mesh bag that the soap goes in, and that has been such a soap saver. Oh my gosh, I have not seen it at the bottom of our shower drain for a while, and it hangs so nicely. Oh, love that. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna have Christmas, and it's gonna be sad like that it has to end early, but I'm going to be beating the winter blues by focusing on my little glow up for the wedding. So this week, it's going to be hectic. It's going to be so crazy. Monday is my last night teaching yoga. So when this episode comes out, I will be teaching my yoga class tomorrow night for the very last time. I am so sad. Like yoga has been such an experience. I've learned so much, just like chatting with people and like meeting new people and leading my classes. Honestly, like it is so bittersweet. I just know that there are things that I want to focus on in the new year that I'm like, okay, I have to give this up. I have to say goodbye, because then I can say yes to other opportunities, yes to other things I'm really interested in. So sayonara to yoga teacher training or yoga teacher classes, all of the things. Tuesday, we're celebrating our Christmas, and that's gonna be fun. That's gonna be great. I'm so excited. I feel like I also have something else going on Tuesday, but can't remember. Actual Christmas Eve, I will be getting my spray tan, so I'm going to be working a full day. I'm going to be, packing. Hopefully I'll pack tomorrow, like get most of my luggage together and have it all ready by the door. And so then like New Year's. So Christmas Eve is totally and utterly like being present with Garrett, watching a movie, like our house is spick and span. Christmas Eve we'll be ordering some sort of Chinese, like not doing anything at all. Like I am so looking forward to it. I feel like it's such a reward. Like once we actually leave for Chicago, it is smooth sailing from there. It's going to be so much fun. I'm really excited just to be present, just to experience it. It's something that we've looked forward to all summer long, and it's going to be really exciting for it to actually happen. So Christmas Eve, we'll be opening gifts, we'll be hanging out together. Actual Christmas Eve. I feel like I'm mixing up my days. I think Christmas, yeah, we will be having our Christmas separate from like my dad and brother, but we also have to fit that in. And then luckily our flight does not leave at a crazy time on Christmas Day, but that way we can like, on Christmas Eve, we can go to my dad's house. We can help him do chores and like experience it with Brody because obviously like he's still a kid. Maybe I'll have maybe I'll have time to make the cinnamon rolls that I, make every year. This year I did perfect the recipe to do sourdough cinnamon rolls, which are so delish. Oh my gosh. Christmas Eve, I have to get my dang spray tan. That's the thing. I was like, what? There was something else on my to-do list on my schedule, and it's the Christmas. It's the spray tan. So for the wedding, I would like to be a little bit glowy. I feel like I should pick up some sort of like other self tan, just like fix any areas. If like my girl has been so good at Glow Casey is what it's called. My friend, she owns it. She is so good. Check her out in the Kansas City area. Live, laugh, love. The tan is always so good. So I'll be getting my tan on Christmas Eve. I was like, why can't we celebrate Christmas on Christmas Eve? I was like trying to think of it. So we'll be celebrating it Christmas Eve with Garrett. And then during the day on Christmas Eve, midday, hopefully Garrett and I will be off work, spend time with my dad, spend time with my brother, and then I'll be off to get my spray tan. So that'll be lovely. Then Christmas Day, it is airport baby. I'm so excited. I have my new luggage from Bays. I did end up returning the medium-sized suitcase. It just wasn't as big enough. And I like the large suitcase the best. So I will be packing up my bays. Unfortunately, they were sold out of the covers. So I tried to find one on Amazon. I'm not sure if it's going to fit right, but something, at least anything to try and protect my suitcase a bit from the wear and tear, because it did cost me so much money. But packing up our suitcases, I'll be spray tan baby. And then we will be in Chicago for Christmas Day. That will be so exciting. We're going to go for supper with his family and just peruse around Chicago. Garrett does have to work the day after Christmas. I'll probably work part of a day. On Friday, I'm getting my nails and my toes done for the wedding, which will be so lovely. I'm trying also to see if I can fit a massage in. Garrett got a massage last week, and honestly, like, I'm so jealous. Like, I really want to try and fit a massage in while we're in Chicago. If not, like, I digress, but I feel like I deserve it. Like, if not, I will be booking a spray tan come January 9th. Like, as soon as I get back from, honestly, that's probably a good idea. I'm gonna go grab my phone and book a massage as soon as I get back home, because my body will need it. Like, I will hopefully, like, when you travel, like, it is a vacation, right? Like, it is something that's not your everyday, and you can enjoy it and feel good about it. But also, like, traveling takes it out of you, and you almost need like a vacation from your vacation. That's why I'm coming back the 8th and not the 9th. My mom and dad will be coming back the 9th. And I'm like, okay, like, I need a full day to recuperate. But it's like, you almost need a vacation from the vacation. And don't even get me started. I'm kind of petrified to try and get back on a routine after being gone for 3 weeks, right? Like, getting on a routine after being gone for so long is going to be heinous, but we will work through it. It will be, I guess it's 2 weeks. It feels like 3 weeks because it's like part of 2 weeks, but it will be just like a full 2 weeks. So it'll be fun. It'll be great. I'm really looking forward to the wedding. I got my dress back. It fits perfect this past weekend. I totally forgot about getting it altered, so I needed it to be shortened a bit, and then the straps also need to be shortened. So I took it to a gal in Garrett's hometown. She did my wedding dress, she did my bridesmaid's dress for Adriana's wedding and Andrew's wedding. I was like, okay, I trust this woman with my life. But the first dress I took was my actual wedding dress, and it was like, it was during COVID, there was nobody else doing it, and I was like, I need someone to actually like be able to alter it. She was recommended by Garrett's family. I was like, perfect, amazing, dropped it off. So I got my bridesmaid's dress for Riley's wedding back, and it fits like a dream. I will, be looking so good. Catch me on Instagram posting it up. But yeah, so I have my dress, can't forget that. I'm wearing like a low heel, packing that. Seriously, like as soon as I get off this podcast, I probably need to pack, like just starting to get my stuff accumulated. I feel like it's the small things that I leave behind. Like, oh, like I forgot a phone charger, or forgot my favorite lip gloss, or like a pair of shoes that I wanted, or the pajamas that I was going to pack aren't washed yet. So I need to do like a little look-see around the house, because putting up our Christmas stuff and trying to be packed and like luckily the house is clean. Like we have kept the house clean for like a couple days now, so that makes me feel really, really good. Rooster and Rowdy are staying home, so and they're barking. Garrett got home, so they were like all jumping up if one more thing goes wrong in today's podcast episode, I swear. But I'm a little sad because Rooster and Rowdy will be staying home, and I know that they're gonna miss me so much. Like they usually miss me way more than Garrett, and so whenever we travel, I'm always like, bye guys, like love you so much. And I know because Garrett will come home, it'll be a disappointment to them. They'll be like, oh, just Garrett? They're gonna think that their mom and dad got separated. Like I'm not gonna come home. They're probably going to be so depressed. I'm going to have to FaceTime them or something, but they're staying home. Brody is going to be over doing the house sitting thing, probably eating all my snacks, but we did clean out the fridge pretty good because honestly, like we have no groceries right now. Like why buy the groceries when we are not even going to be at home or be doing anything? So he will probably be able to munch on some dry goods, some oatmeal. Speaking of oatmeal, maybe I should leave out some oatmeal for the reindeer. That's such a nostalgic thing. Obviously, I'll be setting out cookies for Garrett because he is Santa Claus, if you know what I mean. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to this Christmas. It's going to be definitely different than any Christmas we've ever celebrated before. And it does take me again back to my childhood of like traveling on Christmas. We did that so often because my parents are separated. So I was either like driving from my mom's to my dad's or my dad's to my mom's. So it doesn't always feel good like traveling on Christmas. But when we were making the decision, I was like, I would rather leave on Christmas so then we can be settled and like everything will go like well and dandy for the wedding, right? Like we're not feeling rushed. We are there. If for some reason our flight gets delayed on Wednesday, we'll be able to like drive up or anything and everything. So yeah, I don't know. Like I feel like I'm a little bit jittery right now. One, everything is like wrecking during this podcast, but honestly, I don't have time to like redo any part of it. So I feel so bad, but I'm feeling a little anxious. Like good thing I have my little tea in front of me so I can settle my nerves. Just like chill out. I'm going to be charging everything for the flight so that I can, do those things. What else happened this week? Oh my gosh. I forgot the biggest thing yet. Speaking of little beverages, I tried the bone broth, the hot chocolate bone broth. And let me tell you, it was disgusting. I did bone broth that we had at home, and I've been using this chocolate protein powder from Costco. It starts with an A. It's like a yellow package. It was so gross. I don't know if it was my protein powder or the bone broth that I had, but it tasted like warm, like it does not smell very good. I did not like it. I even warmed it up on the stove. Like I didn't put it in the microwave. I incorporated it. Then I saw a video that was like, you should have made it with milk. I was like, milk? I I did not realize that there was powdered bone broth, but they would warm milk up on the stove and then add a chocolate bone broth to it. Okay. Didn't know that. Did not know that. I tried my chocolate protein powder thinking that would be a good fit. It was not. As gross. So I guess that was my Christmas fail, trying to have a healthy hot cocoa by the fire, waiting for Christmas to come and grace me with its presence. But this Christmas, I will just be drinking coffee, which, oh my gosh, it's been 1 year since I got my coffee machine. That's crazy. So I am wishing you well on this Christmas season. Merry Christmas. Thank you for being a listener of the Golden Hour Drip podcast, and wherever you're listening or watching. Sorry, this video for watching wasn't like amazing, but thank you so much. And I will see you in the next one.